We turn to Pakistan now, which could be about to get a new government nearly 2 weeks after elections that saw widespread accusations of vote rigging and fraud. The largest party was banned from taking part. However, its candidates ran as independents instead. They come in first, but fell short of a majority that left the door open for Pakistan's other parties.
An agreement aimed at resolving Pakistan's political turmoil. Two of the country's three major parties say they have put aside their differences and are willing to form a coalition. They're nominating a political veteran, former Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, to run the government.
I can share with you that the Pakistan People's Party and the Muslim League Nawaz have the necessary numbers now. And God willing, we will be able to work on forming a government.
The alliance comes after an election that failed to produce a clear winner. Candidates backed by the PTI party of jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan won the most votes. But they ruled out coalition talks with the other major parties. The PTI is blaming voter fraud for their poor showing and claims the vote count for several seats was manipulated.
The PTI is calling what was done to our party the mother of all rigging. We reject this result in the strongest terms.
The PTI has accused the military of tampering with the vote count, an allegation Pakistani authorities have denied. PTI candidates are now flooding courts to challenge the results. And it's not only PTI that accuses of vote manipulation. In the southern Sindh province, thousands are protesting against what they believe was a rigged election. In Balochistan, in the southwest, this sit-in is also against alleged poll rigging.
Unfortunately, what happened on February 8th was not an election, but a selection. It was a massively rigged election. What we're demanding is that we be given the correct election results.
For many, these accusations damage the legitimacy of Sharif's coalition before it even takes office. That's likely to make the task of bringing political stability an uphill battle.
So let's get more on the story from our reporter Binish Javed, who covered the elections for us from Pakistan. So Binish, what exactly does the agreement to form a coalition government mean for Pakistan's political stability?
Aaron, this coalition is being formed amid serious allegations of vote rigging. PTI party, which is headed by Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan, has called this coalition mandate thieves because they believe that Pakistan, most of the around 60 million voters of Pakistan voted for them and not for the coalition. And these two parties were also involved. They came together to oust former Prime Minister Imran Khan from his office in April 2022. And when these parties took over the government, the country later plunged into deep political and economic crisis. And therefore, this history of poor performance and these serious allegations of vote rigging will make the work of this coalition very difficult to gain support and trust of Pakistani people.
So while it does look like we are right before a new coalition government in Pakistan, why have they not held talks with the PTI?
PTI refused to hold talks with these two parties because it sees them as political rivals. It also sees them as part of the problem because it believes the vote was rigged to favor these parties. PTI has also claimed that it was a target of state suppression, a crackdown that was led by the military. The military has denied these allegations, but PTI says that when it was going through this crackdown and suppression, these parties stayed quiet. PTI also believes that its backed candidates have won enough seats that they on their own can form the government. They have challenged the results of several of the seats. They have gone to courts and to the Election Commission of Pakistan, and they believe that the results of these inquiries and investigations will favor them, and eventually they will have enough numbers that they will be able to form the government on their own.
And briefly, if you could, you mentioned in your report that there were protests over concerns of vote rigging. Are the voices of protesters being heard?
There have been reports of arrests during protests. Some of the protests that I've shown in my report in far-flung areas in Pakistan, they're not even being reported in Pakistani media. There are also reports of limited access to social media in Pakistan. Internet access monitoring groups are saying that Twitter, the access to Twitter is restricted right now in Pakistan.
All right, that was DW reporter Beenish Javed. Thank you very much for your reporting.